What's going on, everybody? Captain Too Slow here, and today I'm going to be doing basic maintenance on my Evo 4. So stay tuned. I'm here at the Auto Hobby Shop, and I've got some oil, some other lubricants, some new spark plugs, and we're just going to get down and dirty and get into the car. So stay tuned. So I haven't done a video since I first purchased the car, but the first modification I did do, sorry Spencer, had to come off. So there used to say, your car bro right here, the guy I bought it off from. So my wife, she's got a little vinyl maker. I'm gonna have her put my YouTube channel right here. But I did leave the YouTube sticker, so I appreciate that. We're gonna do a quick walk around of the Auto Hobby parking lot here on base. Check out the Nissan Pulsar GTIR. Always been a fan of these. It looks like an S13 over here, parted out. That thing is gutted. Rest in peace. GTR looks like some old school Advans. This one looks like it's been sitting here for a while. Doesn't look like it's in the best shape. Old Datsun. I can say I am a fan of these. Actually, I've been a fan of them forever, ever since I was a little kid. VR4 all-wheel drive. It's a pretty cool sticker. It's got the max power on there and the torque. All right, we're gonna go inside and go ahead and get a lift. We'll pick back up once we're underneath the car. All right, so for the oil change, we're gonna be using Royal Purple's 10W40 full synthetic HPS and a oil filter. Here's the part number. And then after we do the oil change, I'll be swapping out the plugs with some new NGK Iridium spark plugs. These are the Iridium 9s. So we'll pull out the old plugs, check them out. But every time I buy a new car, I like to do general maintenance so I know exactly, you know, what time everything was done. And then I also brought some mass airflow cleaner that I had from the house. We'll spray down the MAF, clean it up a little bit, and then yeah, we'll see how we're doing on time. So right now, the car is on the lift. I'm gonna pull it all the way up. I went ahead and remove the oil cap. So we're gonna get up underneath. We're gonna unscrew the drain bolt. We're gonna let the oil drain, remove the oil filter, and then we'll put the new oil filter on. I'll show you how to lubricate the gasket, and then we'll come back up top. We'll put the train plug back in, come back up top, and then we'll put the oil right up here, and that should be it for the oil change. Pretty straightforward on this 4G63. So we'll go ahead and do a quick inspection underneath the car, since this is my first time getting on the lift. Overall, not too bad. Do a full walk down, see what the rust looks like. This is an Oki car. Just a little bit right here. Exhaust piping looks pretty good. See the TN coilovers. Yeah, it's not bad. It's actually a lot better than I expected. See the cooler right here. However, there is some oil leaking. You can see there. And then the oil pan itself has some oil on it. So I might clean it up when I get some free time over the weekend. I'll actually wipe it down now since I have it on the lift, and then I'll check back maybe next weekend and see if I can spot where the oil is coming from. Maybe the oil pan, maybe it needs a new gasket. Here's the transfer case. So this bolt on the transfer case looks like it's threaded out a little bit. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. There's definitely some oil right here. So we'll get it cleaned up, get some fresh oil in it. A little bit of rust right here. Not too bad. I might knock some of that off, clean it up, and maybe coat it to prevent further rusting. All right, so the first step, we're gonna remove the drain plug right here on the oil pan. So it is at like a 45-degree angle, so the oil is going to come out like this. So I've got the catch can here. I'm going to raise it, get it up and underneath, so when I pull the plug off, it'll flow right into it. So now that we're set up, I'm going to go ahead and take a 17mm socket wrench and remove the drain plug, and all the oil will come in. I'm just going to drop the drain plug right in here, and then we'll get to the oil filter, take that off, let it drop, and then we'll let everything come out, plug it back up, and then we'll go back up top. We're just going to let that drain all the way out. It's good to do an oil change on a lift or jack stands all across, so the car is nice and level. Because if you just drive it up on ramps, you might not get all the oil out of there. Just keep that in mind when you're doing an oil change. Alright, so I went ahead and cleaned up the oil pan and all the little components around it. And now it's time to put the oil filter on. So I'm going to go ahead and pour a little bit of oil around the ring here to lubricate it so it gets a nice seal when I tighten it down. And I already got the drain plug back in. I'll torque it down, and then we're going to put the car back down, go up top, and refill the oil. And then we'll start it up, let it run for a second, and then check the level and see if we need to add. So I'm probably going to do 4.5. Check the dipstick and see if we need to add more. So with the oil filter lubed up, we'll go ahead and twist the oil filter back on the car. And it should go on, you shouldn't have to force anything. And we'll just hand tighten it really well. Alright, oil filter is good to go. Torque the drain plug, and then we'll put the car down. Alright, so we got the car back down. Okay, put the funnel in there like that. And the easy part, just gonna dump all the oil in there. So I got about 4.5 quarts of oil in there. Dipstick was reading full. Put the oil cap back on and fired it up. So we'll see, we'll let it run for a few seconds, turn it off, and see if the dipstick is still reading good or if we need to add a little bit more. So real quick, funny story, and Spencer, if you're watching, you'll probably get a kick out of this. So I got the car, and naturally I had to go and, test out the power on it. So I did a few first to third gear pulls, wide open throttle, all the way hitting red line. And I got home, parked the car. The next morning I'm backing out, and I see a little puddle of oil on my garage floor. So I'm freaking out, thinking, oh man, I just blew something, or the car already had like an underlying issue. Come to find out, I'm doing some inspection on the engine. The dipstick was sitting like that, and I didn't move it. So I was kind of curious. So I went online, did some research on the forums, and supposedly on the 4G63s, these O-rings on the dipstick over time they wear out, and high boost applications will actually pop this off, and it ended up spraying oil essentially everywhere. I had to wipe down a lot of this over here, but there's oil on the strut bar, on the intake manifold, down on the alternator. So I put the dipstick back in, I cleaned it up, all the areas that did have oil, and I've been driving it for about 4 or 5 days now, and there hasn't been any more oil on those spots, so it was definitely the dipstick. But it was a little bit of a scare at first. I mean, anybody would be scared driving, pulling, and then seeing oil in the driveway. So I'm hoping by me getting underneath and wiping down some of the areas, hopefully it'll prevent the leaking. And if not, in the future, I mean, if I see more oil, I mean, it does have some miles on it. Might be time to do a head gasket or a valve cover gasket, maybe a oil pan gasket. So we'll get in here and do some work, but this is going to be my project car for the next few years. I'm really excited to work on it, and puts a smile on my face every time I drive it. I don't know, there's something about it. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and pull off the cover here, and we'll get to the coil packs, pull pull them off, and we'll pull the plugs out and throw the new ones in, and that should be pretty straightforward. So it looks like there's 4 bolts, 2 here, but actually one's missing, so we only got to worry about 3. Get that off and check out the plugs. So I remove the plug cover here, and you can see we've got these 2 little, I don't know what you call them. I've never seen anything like this before, but I'm assuming transistor or something. Maybe somebody can comment below, fill me in. But it looks like we're going to remove these 2 here and these 2, so we can access the plugs underneath. But we do have 2 right here, so I'm going to pull one out, check it out, and see the condition of them, see if we do need to pull the plugs, and we'll go from there. So the spark plugs actually look super fouled. So it is definitely time to change these bad boys out. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into it and replace the 4. And then we'll check back up, fire it up, make sure everything's good to go. So here are the old spark plugs. Oh. Open up the new ones and get a quick little comparison to see what they're supposed to look like when they're new. So this is a new plug. It's kind of hard with the GoPro. Sorry I didn't bring my better camera, but you guys get the gist. So we're going to take these 4, go ahead and reinstall them, torque them down, put the plugs back on, and get the cover on, and then we'll be done with the engine up top for today. Actually, so I'm doing on time. I might pull the MAF off and hit it with a little bit of this, clean it up a little bit. So go ahead and do that now. So everything's been buttoned up. I got the little coil packs back in, 10mm bolts torqued down. Go ahead and put the valve cover on, but before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and start the car and make sure everything fires up good, everything was installed properly, so I don't have to take it off just in case. So go ahead and do that now. Alright, fired right up. Idle's looking good, it's not rough. Don't mind this light right here, that's for the catalytic converter. It had a decat on there, so I'm assuming the O2 sensor is not plugged in. Not worried about it. Sounds good. We'll go ahead and put the cover back on. Alright, so next I'm going to attempt to swap out the transfer case oil. So I'm going to be using Dairy Queen LSD gear oil, SAE90. I'm going to be using this big syringe. I'm going to stick this end in here, about 0.58 quarts I believe it is. And then I'm going to come underneath here, check out the transfer case. Sorry, the lighting's a little bad. So I'm going to drain the oil first. I'm going to remove, you can see that bolt right there. I'm going to remove that bolt, remove this bolt, let it all come out, and then I'm going to put that one back on, and I'm going to stick a little syringe in that hole and just pretty much pump it in there nice and slow, and that should fill the transfer case, and then we'll put the bolt back on and it'll be good to go. Alright, so I hit the drain plug with a 24mm socket wrench, and right now I'm loosening up the fill plug, which is a 19mm, 24-19. I'm gonna let this drip out. It's coming out real nice slow. It's real brown, smells like shit. Pardon my French, but once it's done draining, it might take a little while. We'll go ahead and fill our syringe, show you how to do that, and then we'll try to get the fluid back in here. Let's stick the syringe in here. So the syringe did end up working on the transfer case over here. So I was able to fill it up. It did take about half a quart. And the overflow method, once I started getting a steady stream of oil coming down here, I checked the hole up here and I could see it leveling out. And once it stopped, I went ahead and put the plug back in. I wiped down the downpipe, transfer case, make sure everything was torqued down, and that is it. That was actually a lot easier than I expected. I don't have any gear oil on me, but the plan next time I get the car on the lift is I'm gonna do the transmission oil, and it's pretty much the same thing. I've got the drain plug here and the fill plug right here, so I just let it drain, plug it back in, fill it back up. So I'll get to that next. But other than that, overall successful day. Got the oil done, spark plugs, transfer case, and I cleaned the MAF. So we're gonna go ahead and get out of here, and I'll catch back up with everybody. So that's gonna do it for today's little maintenance video on my Evo 4. Hopefully it helps some of y'all out, some of you fellow Evo owners. The same processes probably work all the way across the board, but I know they'll work on the Transverse 4G63. So from the Evo 4 like mine all the way up to about Evo 9, pretty much everything's the same as far as the processes go on the spark plugs and the transfer case. And obviously oil change is straightforward across the board for the most part, minus the GTR. That one was I don't know, don't even get me started on that one. But anyways, yeah, throw me a like, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Stay tuned for more Evo videos. Cards and Coffees coming up this weekend, so I'll definitely be there. And yeah, shout out to Spencer again. Go check out your car bro if you haven't done so already. He's got a lot of videos on his R32 GTR, including some this old girl, and he'll be heading back to the States here shortly. So stay tuned, and we'll catch you on the next video.